obviously we know what it's fucking about. It's called Half His Age. It's about grooming. Like, you can extract that much, but I do think
you just spoiled the whole book.
Oh my god.
Hello and welcome to Booktalks, where we talk about books, book drama, and our bookish opinions. Today we'll be discussing our most anticipated reads of 2026. For more content from us, you can find us at LiteraryLiberation around the internet. And right now we are currently raising money for the Northern Gaza Water Fund, so there'll be a link in the description below to donate if you are able to. I'm your co-host Kristen. You can find me at TensTBR on all social media platforms.
And I'm your co-host, Mariah, and you can find me at Hungry Riot on all social media platforms.
So, we're finally in the year of our Lord, 2026. New books are being released. And we have a few that we're looking forward to, I would say. I will say, probably don't expect us to have very good descriptions for any of these, because we obviously haven't read most of these at this time, because they're not out yet, so whatever we say, don't hold us fully accountable for it, because we don't know what's going on. And don't get mad at us if they don't end up getting released this year. We're just following what the internet says, like Goodreads itself, and what they have said, or Storygraph has said that these books are going to be released this year. So that's what we're saying.
And I think finding books that you're excited about reading is kind of difficult. I don't never really hear about books until they're out. So when they're up and coming, we're relying a lot on like ARC readers and whatnot, or just word of mouth, people who trust the author, or I don't know how they find some of these people, like that it's a debut novel. But I don't know what your process is, but I kind of pick my anticipated reads kind of by like the vibe of the year and like what I'm interested in.
No, I just pick it based on authors that I've read their work before and I like their work. You know, I don't really go off of... I don't like everything that I picked. I have read something else by this author, at least.
All right. I think the format for this is we're kind of going to go back and forth. We do have a few that are overlapped that we're very excited about, that are going to get showtime on the podcast. So we'll probably just go back and forth, and then we'll save the last couple ones until the very end. You know?
Yes. So these are not also for me. I don't know if yours are any in particular order. Like number one is what you're most excited for or whatever. Mine are not really in any particular order, but I will say like what my most anticipated read is once we get to it too.
Mine's the same way. I kind of just threw them on a list, and as it's hard finding books this year, I don't know what it was. I wasn't really all that excited for a lot of stuff. So a lot of these are just things that intrigue me and I think have a lot of promise.
I do think, too, that, like, just because these are, like, on our list now, doesn't mean that there's not going to be more that are announced throughout the year, too, that we're not looking forward to. Because I know, like, I will have never heard of a book, and then it'll pop up on my For You page, and then I'm like, oh, I'm adding this to my TBR immediately, you know? So, it's not, like, a definitive list. This is just what we know of is coming out sometime this year, and what we're looking forward to, that we're aware of at this moment in time, basically. And maybe it'll give you guys some ideas on what to look forward to this year.
I was going to say, if anyone is listening and they have a book that we don't have listed or you think that we should look into, please let us know, because I don't know how people figure out all of the different books that are coming out, but I don't know if you're going through publisher or whatever. So maybe there's something we haven't heard of that would be on this, but we just haven't heard of it yet. And so message us.
Yeah. Or comment below. But my first book on this list is Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo, that is releasing August 31st. If you're watching the video of this, or if you ever watch any of our videos behind me, I have a whole 2 shelves dedicated to Leigh Bardugo. This is not the only time she's on my list. But I don't really know anything about this book. It's the 3rd book in the Alex Stern trilogy, which is the Ninth House and Hellbent books, which, no, I haven't read yet. But now, with this 3rd book coming out, I'll have no excuse not to read it, because I hate waiting around for, like, a series to be finished, which some of these other books are series that are not finished, and I'm waiting around for them, and it's incredibly frustrating to me, which is why I've kind of put this off. Originally, I think this was supposed to be a duology, and now it's a trilogy, which is never my favorite whenever that happens, so we'll see how that goes. But all I know about the Alex Stern trilogy is that it's like contemporary fantasy, sort of, like urban fantasy, and it's like kind of like, I guess Alex is the main character and she gets like roped into some secret society at her college, so it's like dark academia vibes. And Mariah and I are kind of the same, where we don't read anything, or like we don't read the backs of books. We don't consume anything about the books that we want to read. We kind of just like hear from somebody on TikTok, like we might hear a sentence or so of a book that we've heard about and be like, oh, I'm adding that to my TBR, and then we promptly forget whatever it's about. And I know Ninth House is one of those, but I trust Leigh Bardugo with my life, so I have faith in her.
I don't think I have any series on my exclusive list. Little hint for later. The first one I have on my list is something I didn't know about until I got accepted to the advanced listener program on Libro FM, and it's called Burn Master's Houses Down by Clay Kane. I did start this a little bit, but I'm going to be honest, the audiobook narration is not very good. The author wrote this nonfiction book called The Grift, The Downward Spiral of Black Republicans from the Party of Lincoln to the Cult of Trump. It comes out January 26th, so very soon, but it's 4 different stories about different enslaved Black people who kill their masters that are inspired by real people, like historical figures that we probably have never heard of. So they have
That's
the same
cool.
names, but it's kind of just like a fictionalized retelling of it. And the prologue to this gave me a lot of optimism. So I am very excited for this to come out. I think it's going to be like up there with like Ring Shout.
So that could be something we end up doing on the podcast as well. That sounds like something. I know, like, me and Mariah have not discussed what we put on our list either, really, before, except for the ones that we had overlapping. So, but that does sound interesting. Like, that'd be probably, I know if you read it, I'll probably end up reading it. And usually vice versa, but not really. Like, I don't think you'll read what I read, but I always read what you read.
I don't know how we work that out.
The next book I have on my list is Black Tabs by V.E. Schwab, which has no release date yet, which I like V.E. Schwab's writing. I read Vicious and Vengeful is the second one, that duology last year, and I adored it. And I read another one of her YA books, Gallant, a couple years ago. I really enjoyed that. So V.E. Schwab, I think every year I will probably, whatever she releases, even if I've got Burial Bones and Midnight Soil by her. I haven't read it yet, but like that was another book that I got like once it was released because I was looking forward to it because it was V.E. Schwab, and I like her work most of the time, I will say. Which everything I read, but I've heard mixed things about like Burial Bones and Midnight Soil, so I won't say that. But this doesn't have a release date yet. But I saw on like the Storygraph thing that like there's like a Storygraph new release tracker, and it was on there. But then I go on to Goodreads to check out the book, and it didn't have a release date yet. So we'll see if that actually gets released this year. But if it does, I will probably be picking it up.
Yeah, you really like Lee Bardugo. V. Schwab.
I like V.E. Schwab and Lee
I
Bardugo.
haven't I haven't read any of her stuff yet. I don't know which one will end up being the first one. Probably whichever one ends up being the most popular. I'm sure there's gonna be like a new one that comes out. Maybe it'll be that one.
Who knows?
I don't know. We'll find out. Next on my list is Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. You may also recognize that she wrote another book that was very popular called Bat Eater and Other Names by Cora Zhang. We really wanted to read this for the podcast. It was one of our book club options, and it just didn't win. Which is a bummer. Maybe in the future we will, but I think maybe we might have time to do this because it comes out April 21st, so we have a little while, and it's Japanese mythology and a samurai story. I don't know anything else. That's kind of all. I love the cover of it. I think it's really pretty.
Okay.
It's really hard to talk about these. I don't know what to like say. So I'm like, oh, this is what I got.
Okay, the next book that I have is Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. This is out March 24th. Again, T. Kingfisher, I read 2 of her books this past year in 2025. I read Paladin's Grace, which is cute, and I read Snake Eater, which was also cute. And I like her work. I wouldn't say I love it. I'm looking for the one that I would love, I think, from T. Kingfisher, because I feel like everyone talks about her so highly. But I just haven't found, like, the one for me, maybe. You know? And that, hopefully, maybe Wolfworm will be the one for me. This one's going to be out March 24th. I don't know if they said that already. So, here soon. Which we probably won't be doing that on the podcast. I don't know. Maybe I'll read it and I'll be like, wow, we have to do this for the podcast.
sometimes books sneak up. We try to keep gaps in there. We try to go quarter by quarter, so we never know what's going to pique people's interest, what we have to really prioritize. So anything's possible. Honestly, I think a lot with these authors that we're seeing that we picked out, I think we have a pretty good book sense and what's going to happen on Book Talk. So I feel like we're kind of onto something here. Maybe we're predicting the future.
We're most popular book talks.
We're influencing
2026. Whatever. Yeah. Influencing.
Yeah,
we're the influencers.
I did see that there's a book called Hooked by Asako Suzuki. I had to look up how to pronounce that, but she's the author that wrote Butter. This comes out March 17th. And I think it would be a perfect book for me and Kristen because it's about like two friends that become like really crazy obsessed with each other. And it's about like womanhood and the desire for connection, which in my head reads as like community and solidarity. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to have like a very niche audience that likes it, like Butter. I feel like the people that love Butter, I see them talking about it.
Did you read Butter?
I have it on my shelf. I just haven't got to it yet because I thought we might cover it at some point. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll wait. I don't know, but maybe this will be the one that we end up talking about later. I don't know. It really piqued my interest though, because it's like a fun lit fic, but I think it's also mysterious,
like bunny-esque, but not bunny.
Yeah.
The next book I have is The Tapestry of Fate by Shannon Charbosky. This is out May 19th. This is the second book in the Adventures of the Amina Asarafi book. So I read the first one in 2024, I think, and I love that book. It wasn't a perfect 5 stars, but it's like pirate, mischief, and I honestly think maybe once the series done, I feel like we could do like a whole episode with our full reviews because there is a lot of talk about like class and racism within it, and like the main character is like a Muslim pirate, so it's pretty cool with the diversity that's in it. And I think it's supposed to be a 5-book series from the way that the first book was set up, so it might be a long while because I think the first book came out forever ago, like maybe 2022 or something, and the second book is just now coming out, which is again something that irks my nerves because I don't know if I'll read it this year because, again, I would much rather my series be finished than waiting around because then I'll forget what happens in the book versus I could just, like, collect them all and then whenever all of them are out, then I can, like, plan my reread to be right whenever the final book comes out, which is, what did I just do that for? I feel like I just did that for some other series. That's, like, my goal.
Up next on my list is another, like, kind of weird lit ficky one. It's called Holy Boy by Heejoo. And it comes out February 17th, so not too far away. But it's like Misery if it were K-pop.
Oh.
So, like, a woman gets really obsessed with this, like, K-pop star.
There's a book called it's like Y/N, like your name, like fan fiction. I think that sounds similar to that book.
I just think this one's cool because it is translated. So it's, like, Korean. So it's by somebody that was, like, that, you know, like, gets the culture. Okay, I've seen that before, I think.
This is a novel about a Korean American woman living in Berlin whose obsession with a K-pop idol sends her to Seoul on a journey of literary self-destruction, which this book does not have high ratings. It has 2.91 stars, so
this might be the better alternative.
Maybe.
We'll see how it's perceived, how it ends up working out, but it sounds good. I was like, oh, I would gravitate towards that.
But then I wonder if it's too similar to that other one since that one's already been out for a while. Because this book has been out since 2023. Curious. The next book I have, again, another series. That's like everything. I think everything on my list pretty much has been a series. But the next book I have on my list is Platform Decay by Martha Wells. That's out May 5th. This will be the 8th Murderbot. So I've only read the first 2 Murderbots as of now, but I've done the math. If I read one every month, or if I read 2 in 1 month, then I'll be caught up by the time this one releases. Basically. And they're all short. They're all like less than 200 pages. And if you don't know Murderbot, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's about a robot that hacks his governor module, and he hates people, and all he wants to do is watch soap operas and be antisocial. And it's silly, goofy fun. And it does have a nice little critique of capitalism without being super in your face, I think. It's woke.
Maybe we can plan to. I know it's coming up, but maybe we can plan. We'll slot this in this year. I'm sure we could find a way.
I know, but I don't know if it's worth just talking about them all as one versus talking about them one at a time.
Well, maybe you'll get through to the end and kind of see like where it's at.
Yeah.
So keep noted, keep posted, check the stories on Instagram or something. I'm sure we'll
Or
post
if you
about
comment,
it
read Murderbot right now, Mariah will have to read it. So
yeah, I plan on reading it. It just I don't know. There's so much going on. That's why I don't know. Anticipated reads like freak me out because I already have so much shit on my TBR and it just grows and grows and there's only so much time to read.
But at least you'll never run out of books to read.
This is true. This next one, though, I think is going to be a good one. It's Autobiography of Cotton by Cristina Rivera Garza, and it's an intimate fictionalization of her family that reveals a rich social history of agricultural colonization, labor activism, environmental degradation, and cross-border migration. So it's set in 1934. I think it's going to be, I think it's a very like topical read because of like the history and what's happening. This comes out February 3rd, so this is even more in the like immediate future.
Everything you have on your list pretty much comes out like pretty soon, I feel like.
Yeah, pretty much.
The next book I have on my list is A Darker Shore, Letters from Ketterdam by Leigh Bardugo. Oh, another Leigh Bardugo book. Go figure. This is supposed to come out June 30th. And this is like a Six of Crows 2.5, I guess, because obviously the duology is finished, but these are supposed to be like, I think like short little letters and like from some of the characters to each other. Again, anybody that knows me, I love Six of Crows. My cat is literally named Kaz. I will read anything Six of Crows related. Inej, Kaz, Wyland, Jesper, Call Me, Nina, Matthias. I can't say anything else because Tyler's here. So I can't spoil the second book still because he still hasn't read it. So, but I am very excited just to be in the Grisha-verse once more. I think Leigh Bardugo should just keep writing Grisha-verse books. They don't even have to be like the same characters, just like within the realm of the Grisha-verse, and I will read them all.
I'm sure she will.
I hope so. I think it's such a robust world. Like, there could be so much going on.
And the last one on my specific list, I really didn't have too many. It's called Technology and Barbarism by Michael Nieva. It comes out February 24th. It's like science fiction, but it's, I don't know, the description, I'm going to read this all right. In capitalist science fiction, Nieva studies the influence of historical hard science fiction on technology at capitalism today with a special focus on Silicon Valley and a particular spin on the end, of course, of Elon Musk. So I'm pretty sure this is fiction. I think I was going
nonfiction to me.
It does seem that. Let me double check.
Which, not necessarily. I mean, me and Mariah also read nonfiction. We just don't really talk about. We don't do book reviews for nonfiction on.
Yeah, I think this might be. It's a translated novel. Yeah, it's on Penguin Random House, so I don't know if it's fiction or nonfiction. I don't remember. I just saw the title of it and it piqued my interest. So
I can't even find this author on Goodreads, so good luck with that. So I only have 2 more books on my list specifically, and I'll talk about those real quick. I have The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig, which is supposed to be out September 1st. This is the second book in the Night and the Moth duology. I read the first one last year. It was one of my last books of 2025, and I enjoyed it. I love One Dark Window, The Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig. So The Knave and the Moon, I am eagerly awaiting the second one in that. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger too, so you're kind of like wanting to know what happens. So I am looking forward to that. And then the next book I'm looking forward to is Victorious by V.E. Schwab, which is supposed to be out October 6th, which again, I mentioned I read the Vicious and Vengeful duology. I don't know what the heck that duology is called off the top of my head. But whatever, I love those books. The first book was I think that's in my top like 10 reads of last year. Vicious says, I love that book so much. I read that. That was one of the first books I read in January, and I just constantly like went back to it and kept thinking about it. Which the second book, not my favorite. It was fine. So I am very interested to see, because in my opinion, Vicious could be a standalone novel. But then she expanded the world and made a second book, and some of the characters that are in the first book are back in the second book. And then you finish the duology and you're like, okay, this could be done. But then the fact that there's a third one coming out, it kind of feels like she's milking it for money. No offense, V.E. Schwab. If you are, get your bag, girl. I get it. But also, sometimes you just need to let Victor rest. Thank you. That's my opinion. Leave Victor alone.
Our first book that we have overlapped, obviously, if you are living under a fucking rock this year, you would know that we reviewed every single Dungeon Crawler Carl, which we thought was leading up until this book, and
Turns out they delayed this book.
They changed the name. It was like Carl's Big Book of Boom.
Yes.
It's now being called A Parade of Horribles. I don't want to say too much about it because if you haven't read it, you really should. I joke. It is a wonderful series. Obviously, we fucking love it. Eighth one. I don't know how many are planned in the series. I can't remember. I think it's
10.
12.
Oh.
10?
I think
I
10.
hope for more. But yeah, that's it. That's all we have for that one because there's literally, you can't find fuck all about it online.
All we know is you can pre-order it on Audible now for that date specifically. So we're saying that means that it's got to be out, even though Matt Dinniman hasn't announced it yet. I'm imagining he's waiting to announce it though, because of our next anticipated read for this year is Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinniman, which comes out February 10th, so next month, a month from now. And of course, it's Matt Dinniman. He wrote Dungeon Crawler Carl. I think me and Mariah trust him with our life. And I think anything new we'll probably try to pick up by him and maybe review for the podcast.
I think it's be interesting seeing how this literary RPG compares to the one that he has out now. I know Kristen intends on reading Matt Dinniman's backlog at some point this year. There's some really cool ones in there. We'll see how Kristen likes it.
Well, I'm really excited for this one. Well, because this is a standalone, and I know he has other standalones, but I think this is his first standalone since focusing on Carl. So it'll be really interesting to see. I'm really interested to see if his characters feel like his main characters feel different, because I have run into that problem with other authors. Not Matt Dinniman. Matt Dinniman, I love you. I have nothing bad to say about anything that you've wrote that I've read so far. But other authors that I've read that kind of like stay in the same genre, I feel like their main characters kind of get a little samey. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, which I don't really know too much about this. All I know is just like, I don't know. What do you know about it?
I know I looked at the description. I realized I hadn't read the description because I'd been avoiding it to go in as blind as possible, and I didn't really know. Like, it's a game. He's got to go all the way through a game.
Sounds familiar.
The game is called Operation Bounce House. It's very interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It kind of sounds the same as Dungeon Crawler Carl in some ways, but I think that's just kind of the essence of literary RPGs. Because you have to like get into some sort of alien world or fantastical world, right? Where they have rules and you are like gaining and you're like building your own character, which is yourself. So I feel like they kind of all have some sort of general resounding formula. We'll see if it follows it. We don't know. Honestly, this is the only series that we've read, Dungeon Crawler Carl, that is a literary RPG. I don't think we've touched them before this.
No, we haven't, that's why I'm saying, like, we haven't read any other lit RPGs, which I plan to read some this year. I think, is We Are Bob considered a lit RPG? I think that one is. Or We Are Legion, I think is what it's called. It's like the We Are Bob series. I have that like on the docket for this year for me personally. And then I know He Who Fights Monsters is another big one, which again, we haven't read any other lit RPGs. So I don't know how samey like they feel to Carl in the first place. You know? So it could just be like for the genre. That's why it feels like Carl, because like Carl's like the pinnacle of lit RPG. It's just scary to read other lit RPGs because everyone's like, well, Carl's the best. So.
And I feel like I'm cheating.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm excited for We Are Bob. I've heard good things. Excited for that one. And then
very last on our list is Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy, which comes out January 20th. It's actually going to be our first review of February, our first book review. And I got very lucky and got
Mariah's already read this
copy. I did. I already read it. I didn't know if I was going to be able to read it or read it by the time it comes out. But according to the description, right, it's a sad, funny, thrilling novel about sex, consumerism, class, desire, loneliness. the internet, rage, intimacy, power, and the oftentimes misguided links we'll go to in order to get what we want. And I think that's a pretty
Accurate.
spot on. Yeah, I don't have any contentions with it. I do think people are really going to like it. I think it's being appropriately hyped. I'm very excited for Kristen to read it.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here.
I did not.
Like,
I did not apply to get it early either.
I know. I was like, fuck. I don't know what to do now.
I don't want to. I don't. The thing is Mariah listened to the audiobook. Mariah can do like fiction audiobooks. The only fiction audiobooks I've listened to, I've also physically read with it. So I don't think that's something I could just do by itself, especially if I'm wanting to do a review for. If we're doing a review for the podcast, I think I have to physically read it because I will not retain the information just listening to it, to be honest. Like, I don't have very strong auditory processing. I'm much better at, like, physically reading it myself, which I think is unpopular. I think most people are better at auditory. That's why, like, audiobooks are
Maybe
so popular.
Start a survey and see how people are learners and readers and like how they extract the most information. It reads as a, if you were wondering and you were like, do I need to spend money on the audiobook? It reads great. If you liked her
Jennette
memoir,
McCurdy does the audiobook.
Yeah, and she does a really good job with it. I liked it. It's very similar like in structure to that. So I think if you're in that camp, you'll like it. I do think if you're into like kind of like a weird girl lit fic, this is like My Dark Vanessa for Gen Z. That's like my best way of describing this without obviously we know what it's fucking about. It's called Half His Age. It's about grooming. Like you can extract that much, but I do think
you just spoiled the whole book.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's gonna be popular and I'm excited and I hope it wins like a Goodreads thing.
If it gets nominated
next year.
We'll see.
Better.
The thing is, I feel like the problem is that, not to like start harping on the Goodreads Choice Awards or anything, these books are being released so early in the year that I feel like the problem with the Goodreads Choice Awards is that I feel like it kind of has like recency bias in a way, because I felt like all of the stuff that was on like the Goodreads Choice Awards was like stuff I heard about in the latter half of the year rather than in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I agree. It's all a conspiracy, man, but I do think it should get awards. It's a lovely book.
What would you get nominated for? Just general fiction, I guess.
It's on I think it's Penguin. I don't know who has it. But it was called women's fiction, which I think is really interesting that it was being labeled that on like some publisher website. It said women's fiction and literary fiction. It's like,
that's what we just had a discussion about that with our Emily Henry episode we did last week. People we meet on vacation. If you didn't check out that episode, you can go check that out.
Maybe I'll do a reread. Maybe I'll like fuck around and challenge myself because I don't do rereads this recently. But maybe
Mariah doesn't reread ever.
I'm gonna get a physical copy.
Mariah says she doesn't do rereads this recently. When's the last time you reread a book?
Coraline, I know that was a reread.
Okay, and that was how many years ago at this point? I think we published that review in 2023 or 2024.
I don't know. I just have a really good recollection of the stuff that I read. So it makes it hard because it's like, oh, I remember these plot points.
See, I think it depends on the book for me.
Like when I was reading Marked, trying to do that by PC Cast, I was like, I read this when I was 13. And I know exactly what's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the book. Like, people we meet on vacation, like, sometimes I reread Will the Many, and I remembered, like, everything that went on with that. But then I reread People We Meet on Vacation. None of that was in my head. I finished that book, and then it completely left my mind. So, I think for me, it depends on the book. I guess it depends on how much I love it and how much lasting impact it has on me. But I guess, is that all from us? It's a little bit shorter of episode. We're trying to do weekly uploads, so with that, we will be posting a little bit shorter, like our minis that we've done in previous summers. And that, if you have any topics you want us to talk about,
yes, that would probably be the most helpful. I think one of the next ones we have coming out is going to be a talk about Audible, and I think it's going to be structured more as kind of like a video essay, maybe, because of how we're going to broach the subject. Like, sure, we're going to have like our own personal commentary like interlaced, but we will have a lot more resources on just like Audible libraries, like how Audible exclusive functions, and just everything about that. And then maybe the AI authors, some controversy. We'll throw whatever we can in there to make it as cohesive as possible. But you just let us know what you kind of want to see. We're planning on doing. We're also going to have our end of month wrap up where we're going to discuss everything that we read to a degree.
Yeah.
Not maybe everything. Some things might get like.
I'll probably talk about everything I read because I only read I read less than 10 books a month. Mariah, whenever she has a month where she's reading 20 books, she probably will not be talking about all 20 books because nobody cares about the 35 alien romances she read in 1 month.
Hey, I'm reading a book I said I never would read, and that is Morning Glory Milking Farm. And don't you
Of course
worry,
you're reading
it's going
that.
to get. I thought about not doing it, but then I don't know, something's been like a little bug, a little
That's because Mariah reads that freaky
there.
shit.
And I'm just so perplexed because you know what? The social commentary right now, they weren't lying.
I'm not reading it.
It's kind of
You can't make me. You can't make me read it.
Maybe it would, it's either going to have to just be like an end of the month wrap up or like just me explaining the plot and like,
yeah,
you can go off of that. Yes.
That's all I need. I don't need to sit down and read it. Like, I don't know how long it is, but I can already tell you it's too long.
The title will be like explaining the entire plot of Morning Glory Milking Farm to my best friend. Her reaction?
I don't think that will fit in the YouTube title. There's very limited characters we have there. But I guess other than that, that's everything we're excited for this year.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes, we are asking you to do that.
I hate it. It seems so silly.
But other than that, yeah, comment below if you have a specific topic you want us to talk about that you want our opinion on. Any books you want us to read this next year. We are planning for quarter 2, even though quarter 1 is already completely planned out. Quarter 2's got lots of openings. We ain't got nothing over there yet. Other than that, I think that's it from us. So thank you and good night.